Here is your Godzilla of the Truth, trucking it every day. Joining us now, very exciting. A lot of things going on for Trump and the Republicans. Here is Vikram Kumar, and he is the chairman, get this, he is the chairman of the Republican Hindu Coalition. And the Republicans are gaining, without a doubt, gaining with the Indian community in the United States. A lot of them big Trump supporters that we're very excited about. And he is joining us now, Vikram Kumar, chairman of the Republican Hindu Coalition. Vikram, great to have you with us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show, John.
No problem. So tell me about the Republican Hindu Coalition and how this came into be and how this works.
Yes, so the Republican Hindu Coalition was established actually by my father back in 2015, based on the principles of the Republican Jewish Coalition. And it's, our mission is to unify the Hindu American voice in Washington and across the country. The RHC group was and the Kumar family was very involved in President Trump's campaign back in 2016, and in fact helped convert 1 million Hindu Americans from D to R, actually.
So tell us a little bit about the Hindu community, Vikram, and why you think there would be a movement towards Republicans. Just kind of explain the whole thing.
Well, it's interesting. So, the statistics show that originally 80% of Hindus and Hindu Americans are 80% Democrat. But quite honestly, if you look at our background and our demographics, we're quite a conservative group of individuals. 1 in every 7 of us also are entrepreneurs. We have the highest per capita income in the United States. One of the highest education groups, masters and higher PhD levels. So we think very conservatively. Financially, we're very conservative, and we believe in Republican causes. It's just, we're such a passive community, and we don't, till now, till the RHC group has come in and riled up quite a few Hindu Americans, we haven't really risen in the United States, and with respect to politics, and now we're making a difference to express our voices and, our Hindu causes, one of which is, the strong suit topic right today is the concept of DACA versus DALCA, DALCA with an L.
And so the difference is?
The difference is, so DACA, provides that green card for all illegal childhood arrivals, and there are 200,000 Indian Hindu Americans children who came here legally. So that's really DALCA with an L is for legalhood childhood arrivals, and we're pushing the agenda, and President Trump agrees with this. We've had one-on-one meetings with him on this discussion, as well as the White House in general agree on this. As do several members of Congress. And it's a matter of, on the DACA legalization rule, remove the word illegal childhood arrivals, and that is incorporate legal childhood arrivals. So, if you're going to give access to the illegal immigrants, of course, the legal immigrants, those are students or kids who come here on H-1B visas through their parents, maybe at a couple years old. Their green cards are approved. That is the parents. But because of the current backlog of over 60 years, the kid will age out. And it's no different than someone like myself who was born and raised here. They don't know anything better than being, an American.
So basically, what you're talking about, Vikram, is the ability for children that came into the country legally under an H-1B visa program with their parents.
Right, so
parents came here.
Yep.
Yeah, parents came here legally to work. Everything was legal. Visas were legal. Work permits, green card. Kids come with them. Obviously, they were not conceived here because if they were, they'd automatically be citizens. So they come here with
Correct.
them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, come to work, but then they age out. They expire. Now they become 18. Now what? Right? I mean, that's basically what you're saying. It's like, why are they in the back of the line and they came here legally and other people are at the head of the line and they came here illegally?
Right. So a lot of children of Indian descent, Hindu Americans who were born in India, they dread turning 21, and they, because they no longer become dependents, and they, people make the comment, do I go, jump the border and jump the wall and come here illegally after I turn 21 because then I can get the DACA authorization?
No, right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense because, I mean, you nailed it. So it's like they can't stay legally, so they could just basically drive to Mexico, right? Go over the border and then come back. I mean, just drive in, drive to Tijuana, and then just walk back over, and then they're DACA.
Exactly. And when you make this aware, you bring this awareness to Americans out there, they totally agree with the concept of DACA. The legalhood child arrivals. Any poll you take, any people that you mentioned, to 99.999% of Americans will agree that this is, it's an injustice to not include the legal arrivals.
I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. This is just part of the ongoing debate. And, one of the things that why I'm so opposed to allowing the DACA amnesty without long-term comprehensive legislation, immigration reform, is this problem just continues to persist. And Vikram, it's just not fair to the people that play by the rules. If you play by the rules, it's not fair. And those that came here, they had their children brought here legally, don't have a recourse. And those that are here illegally are getting all the attention. And that doesn't make any sense at all. We're with Vikram Kumar. He's the chairman of the Republican Hindu Coalition. It was founded by his father in 2015. Vikram, let's get to the midterms. What type of an impact can the Republican Hindu Coalition have for Republican candidates? Where are there states or particular districts where you have influence, where you've gained traction? Break that down for us.
Sure. There's a lot of traction and currently movement going on. There's a huge Hindu American community in, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We will have a huge impact if the president and Congress leaders were to engage just like they did in 2016. So we could potentially turn 5 states and 20 House Senates or 20 House seats from D to R.
So you think you could have an impact on 20 House seats?
That's correct.
That's a big number. I mean, that changes the power, definitely changes the balance of power that would keep the Republicans in charge of the House. Give me an example, Vikram, for
we formed the Hindu Caucus, Congressional Hindu Caucus, and many members of Congress are in support of it, and current members of the caucus include Biggs and Schweikert and Zeldin and Peter King and Pete Sessions, MacArthur, Fitzpatrick, Yoder Stivers. I mean, the line goes on. So we are definitely getting heard in Congress and Senate, and of course the White House agrees with a lot of our principles and values. So we're definitely shaking up the cages here, and in support of the Republican Party, and to help President get reelected.
Vikram, what are your mobilization efforts? Like, how are you outreach, getting your fellow Hindus involved in the system, registered to vote? What's the process for that?
Multiple means. So one is we have an upcoming rally that gets, again, all the Hindu Americans believe in our unified causes and quite a bit in Republican values. And, so our June 13th rally, uniting all Hindu Americans on this DALCA issue, that is one method. We do a lot of digital campaign advertising, and we do just a lot of outreach and have hall meetings and just rile up the group to come and actually take a vote and move forward. So where more than 5% of the vote is Hindu. So we have all the data, and we're working with Steve Sivers of the NRCC very closely to convert those Hindus from D to R and to make an impact for the Republican Party.
Vikram, that 5% that you mentioned, is that 5% nationally?
That's correct.
So 5%, what you're saying is 5% of U.S. voters are Hindu.
Well, so there are 4.2 million Hindu Americans or Indian Americans, that is of Hindus. So whether they're from Sri Lanka or India or other countries, but that's 5% within each district, but those are the statistics of Hindu American voters, 4.2 million.
So you got 4.2 million Hindu voters, and if you were to just give, I know you might not have the metrics on this, but of that 4.2 million, what percentage would you say of those coming up in the midterms you think are going to vote Republican versus Democrats? 60%, 55%, 70%, just off the top of your head.
Well, I can go based upon the previous statistics we had done in the 2016 election, converting over 1 million of those from D to R. But I would suspect, about 50%, 2.1 million of those, of those voters.
So would the other 50% vote for the Dems? Because if they do, then it's just a wash.
Yeah, I mean, some independents, some just don't vote, and it's the job of the Republican Hindu Coalition and myself to get more people to come to vote. So I would say a lot of Hindu Americans are very busy with their businesses, with their education, and they don't necessarily speak up. And it's our job to make sure that they come to the polls and make that vote, because they all think conservatively and they all think, conservative values just as Republicans. So,
well, Vikram, I tell you what, that is a big number. 4.2 million Hindu voters in the United States can really make a difference in a lot of congressional districts, no doubt about it. I tell you what, I really appreciate the time, Vikram. Hey, if they're listening now, Vikram, and they are of Indian descent or they are Hindu and they want to become involved or they want to learn more about your organization and the Republican Hindu Coalition, how do they do that? Where do they go?
Yes, first off, come to the June 13th rally on Capitol Hill. Second, our website is rhcusa.com. Talks about all our events, contribute to the cause, whether that's financially or, in person, just raising our voices together. So it's rhcusa.com.